Why don't you just tell them about us? They can hear us talking.
They can't hear us talking. I've not even started the camera yet.
But they want to hear us. They want to hear me. I'm the star.
Can you just let me do the review? This is my review, not our review.
But we are together. We are Venom.
Nope, I'm not gonna let you out. I don't want the people to see. And they're already looking. Great.
What is up, Flick fans?
Hello, Flick fans.
Nope, welcome back to my channel. Today we are talking Venom, Let There Be Carnage. This is a spoiler-free review. If you guys would like to see a spoiler review, let me know down below. And as you can see on my left and right sides, I have two Venom pop figures. That's because I'm giving one of those away to you guys. So if you like this video, be sure to drop your thumbs up, make sure you're a subscriber, and leave a comment. What is your favorite Spider-Man or Venom movie? Drop those comments down below. That will place you in the running to win this pop figure. Appreciate everybody who enters, appreciate your support, but I want to get into this review. Is Venom Let There Be Carnage better than the first? Let's talk about it. So Eddie Brock struggles to adjust to his new life as the host of this alien symbiote known as Venom, which grants him superhuman abilities in order to be a lethal vigilante. Brock is attempting to reignite his career by interviewing serial killer Cletus Kasady, who becomes the host of the symbiote Carnage and escapes prison after a failed execution. So I found the first Venom to be interesting. It wasn't what I expected, right? I think Venom from the comics, yes, there are definitely these quirky elements about him, but most of the time I think of this horrifying symbiote attaching itself to Eddie Brock, who hates Peter Parker, hates Spider-Man, so I automatically gravitate to a very specific story, but the first movie, obviously, was much different, both in tone and story structure-wise. This movie, if you believe this film is going to take everything in a different direction, whether you like the first or not, that's not the case. Really what this movie is doing, it's doubling down on all of the things that made the first Venom, the craziness, the quirkiness, the sense of humor, the comedy. I mean, this movie feels like more of a comedy than anything, but it really does bring so much more action compared to the first. And when I say doubles down on the wackiness, we're going balls to the wall here. Is that a critical term to use? Balls to the wall? And like I said, it caught me off guard in the first film. Did not catch me off guard in this movie because I was ready for it. What I wasn't ready for was for them to take us in a few directions, add some subplots in there, a villain that I don't really care as much about, and kind of hone in and focus on the romance, not between the symbiote and Eddie Brock, but the romance that we got in the first film. This movie doesn't really focus on any of that, right? There aren't near as many subplots because it's a tight 90-minute runtime. There's not a lack of an interesting or at least threatening villain because this time around we have Woody Harrelson as Carnage, and let me tell you, he is the amalgamation of madness. And that's what we want Cletus Kasady to be. He's a serial killer. But not only is he a serial killer, but he is just kind of a psychopath. He has this obsession with Eddie Brock. And we also don't really get that much romance. And not that I don't like Michelle Williams. I think she's phenomenal. But that part of the story, at least in the first film, kind of took away for me. And she's in here, as is her new boyfriend, Dr. Dan. That's in the trailer. And, you know, I thought he was fine. There was something about his performance that didn't quite work for me. He tries to go for the humor, and it doesn't really land as well as it does for Hardy or Harrelson. Okay, whatever, right? But the real relationship exploration in this film, carrying over from the first, but honing in on it even more so, is between the symbiote and Tom Hardy's Eddie Brock. And let me tell you, when we talk about an actor who is committing to this crazy role, I mean, as crazy as you could possibly get, the Oscar, it's his. Well, that's not true. But really, he is committing to a degree that I'm just thoroughly impressed with, right? And he did it in the first film, yes. But where this movie is full of so much more action, so many more comic book nuggets that I think fans are going to love, and Carnage, man. Freaking Carnage. That's what I've always wanted to see. And I believe the ultimate comparison for this film, Venom, Let There Be Carnage, right? You have to have the right mindset. If you want it to be super serious, you're not going to get that, right? Off the bat, in the first scene, we see Eddie Brock trying to recall certain things that he just saw in a jail cell, and Venom kind of takes over his body and starts scribbling all of these notes and these things that he's trying to recall from memory. And the way that this scene works, it reminded me of a Saturday morning cartoon. And I've already seen this comparison on Twitter, so I'm not the first one to say this. But this movie in its entirety, from the humor to the slapsticky nature of it, to the one-liners that Woody Harrelson is gleefully shouting out as he's just ripping things and people to shreds. Again, part of me wishes this movie was rated R. I think that would have been a lot cooler, but they do a good job of kind of working around that, not showing you those moments, obviously, but getting just enough to know that he is wreaking havoc, that he is wreaking carnage. Wreaking carnage? Causing carnage. That sounds better. And yeah, there's a ton of that. There's a ton of action in this movie. I wasn't expecting there to be that much action because in the first film, we see Venom eventually, but it takes us a while to get there. Venom is present from top to bottom, from beginning to end here. And then that giant climactic battle that we get at the end involving multiple characters, and I won't go any further than that, it was super entertaining. And again, you're just going to get a lot of things that you love about this incarnation of the character. A mystery of sorts that is familiar, and really the overall plot, there's not much to it. There's a goal for Cletus Kasady, there's a goal for Tom Hardy's Eddie Brock here, and that's about it, right? You get a couple of characters that filter in and out, they don't serve the utmost importance, and when it comes to the humor, a few of the jokes don't land, a few of the one-liners. Sometimes Venom will say something over top of Eddie Brock that just, it almost takes away from the moment, and I'm like, all right, definitely more hits than misses, but I felt like some of the humor just wasn't all there. But the humor that works genuinely had me laughing, and just the outrageous moments here, you just have to embrace the madness, and that's something that I can do much more so with this sequel, because along with that madness, along with that humor, you're also getting just entertaining fight scenes and entertaining characters on screen, and Andy Serkis's direction that just said, I'm going to do what the first one did and just go full on like, what can we do? And he did it. Naomi Harris as Shriek, she may have been overcooking it at points, as well as Woody Harrelson. Like I said, they are committed to delivering a lot of these one-liners. There were a couple that just didn't quite work, but for the most part, as outrageous as they are as this wild set of characters, it does work for what the story is doing. Best part about this movie, it's so self-aware and committed on delivering this insanity, to the point where I can overlook some of the story flaws, the voiceovers over the shoulder where it's extremely obvious that there's narration happening and it's not matching up to the mouth. These are technical criticisms that I could point to in a lot of movies. It's almost the same feeling, a very different kind of movie than Sam Raimi's Spider-Man films, but that same sort of cheesiness that you love about those movies, that's starting to really carry over into this Venom universe. And as over the top and ridiculous as it gets, you have Tom Hardy at the center, who's just such a phenomenal actor. You buy everything he's doing, you buy how he's committing. Oh, and by the way, the CGI in this film is just, I mean, it's phenomenal. It looks spectacular. Carnage, when he comes to life and just takes over the screen, and oh my god, it looked incredible. In terms of my major criticism, it feels like the movie flies by. It goes by so quick. It feels like there's a lot left on the table that they could have explored, and because of that, there are certain scenes that just feel choppy, and I just wish there was more to this film. Again, I love the runtime, I love how quick it is, but there are subplots in here I'm like, I wish we could have dove a bit deeper in that, and maybe I would have felt more emotion towards that specific thing. So before I give you guys my score, I want to say thank you for watching, entering the contest, and pushing me to 100K. We're getting close. If you're not subscribed, that would be awesome. Venom 2 is consistent with the first film when it comes to the humor, but it amplifies the madness and symbiote-centric action. Tom Hardy keeps owning it with his committed performance, and Carnage brings a ton of chaos with him. It's quick, slightly uneven, but entertaining. It knows what it is. I'm going to 70% with my score. It's a movie that I enjoyed more than the first. I think it does a better job with what it's trying to do. Again, it's not going to win a ton of people over, and you're not going to see super high critic ratings across the board, but this movie is all about entertainment, embracing the madness, having fun, and oh my god, the post-credits scene, mid-credits scene, whatever it is, it's in the credits. Don't leave. Do not leave. your mind's gonna be blown, your brain's gonna be everywhere. It's crazy. Thank you guys so much for watching.
Can you remind them that I'm still here? I've been trying to talk
I'm
this
in the
entire
middle
time. Don't you
of trying to
sweat
talk
off
to
me.
the people.
I'm the
Tell them
one
that's
that's
your
trying to
movie.
tell them
It's your
about
movie.
my
You weren't
movie.
even supposed to
Well,
be
even
here,
though
but
you
you
were
were
the
here
one
for
that's
some
actually
reason.
saying it,
Okay,
but
you know
I
what?
just
You're gonna
want
start
you to know
arguing
that
with me
we
like
are
that.